He's an important director historically because he went his own way. He was a maverick filmmaker, and he loved to write his own stuff, and he had a very, very strong point of view, and he was a real amalgam of cliche and bold originality. He knew how to balance those out. 40 Guns is a really good example of that. I think, because I knew Sam, and I think what made him a maverick was he was so certain he was right all the time and everyone else was wrong. So certain of this. The studio was wrong. The writer he's working with was wrong. The actor who had an idea, that was the bad idea. That's never getting into the picture. He was really, he was like a bull. Well, I saw the movie in a drive-in. It was on I call it the undercard, the second feature, after Jailhouse Rock, and I saw the picture once again with my mom and dad. My sister, my mom and dad were in the front seat. Nobody wanted to leave a drive-in after the first film because at intermission, you got all the crap from the snack bar. Then you had to have some place to eat it. And so that at least got you through the first half hour or whatever the second film was. Well, at the time, as a kid, all I'm looking for is action.
Right.
You know, whenever they talked, I was really bored, wanted to go home. And then whenever they rode or shot guns, I was excited. Yeah, there's a whole bacchanalia part of this picture, which I've never quite been able to reconcile ever since I saw it. But there's also a great deal. It feels like a play. Almost some of it feels like a play. But, the movie sort of deceives you. Because remember the first shot of the film, I couldn't believe it. I saw all these horses coming down a hill, led by a woman, all in black, on a white horse. The brothers, and they look a little bit like the Earp brothers, patterned a bit after them.
Clearly.
And I remember as a kid, one shot, the camera's low under the wagon, and you see the horses, the 40 horses, probably not 40, it's probably 25, but the horses sort of separate to go around the wagon on two sides. There's some great angles from below. Fuller knew where to put the camera. He had a really great eye. And even as a kid, I noticed that. And then when that was over, I kept wondering, when are the 40 guns going to come back? And when is there going to be a shootout with 40 guns?
Yeah.
There is never a shootout with 40 guns. There are shootouts. Well, you put a number in an audience's head. And I promise you, there were not 40 horses. Remember, Barbara Stanwyck owns all the land.
Right.
And owns the 40 guns. And owns the sheriff. In the middle of the movie, there's a tornado that blows through the prairie. Tumbleweed are blowing. And it's a pretty good special effect in those days. When I was a kid, I was pretty convinced there was a twister. And it kind of blows Barry Sullivan and Barbara Stanwyck around, and they have to
both
take shelter.
blown off their horses.
And I said to my dad in the front seat, he was the front seat, I said, Dad, she never loses her hat. There's a tornado. She never loses her hat. And I've never forgotten that. I think I probably remember from childhood the fact that the hat stayed on her head. It only came off when she kissed Barry Sullivan.
That's right.
She'd take the hat off to kiss him, but a twister couldn't knock it off. It blew his hat off.
That's right.
The other thing that I remember, and I know his name now, but I didn't know his name then, but Jidge Carroll sings a bunch of ballads. Sings the story of the movie. And there's a crazy lyric that says, I'm not exaggerating, the lyric is, high riding woman with a whip.
Yeah.
And Jidge sings this throughout the film. He sings it the way Nat King Cole and Stubby Kaye sang the Cat Ballou ballads all through the film Cat Ballou. Except that was supposed to make you laugh, and 40 Guns was not supposed to make you laugh. But I watched the movie recently, getting ready to talk to you about it, and there's a lot of comedy in 40 Guns.
There is.
Probably was not really intended. Looking back on it, I would have switched roles, switched characters. But, Barry Sullivan was a great actor. He was a great sort of unsung actor, and he was a leading man, not a character actor.